You're at WGTS 91.9. Good morning. We are Jerry and Blanca, and we are pleased to introduce you to our special guest this morning. His name is Chef Ashish Alfred, and he's quite the local celebrity. Not even just a local celebrity. You may have seen him on Chopped, on the Today Show. He's been on pretty much every local TV show around here. It's pretty amazing. So you're a local boy. You grew up in Silver Spring. Tell us a little bit about your childhood.
You grew up in Silver Spring, Montgomery County boy, born and raised. Started off in like the Wheaton area, and then ended up finishing out high school in the Rockville area at Magruder High School.
Mm-hmm. And in the process of all this, you got in trouble with some alcohol and some drugs at an early age. What do you think was the appeal there? What led you down that path?
I think it's the same thing that appeals to a lot of young guys. It was a way for me to fit in. It was a way for me to get comfortable. The alcohol helps you kind of
relax.
Helps you relax a little bit, and helps you kind of let your guard down somewhat. And it just made me feel a little bit accepted in a world that I didn't feel otherwise accepted.
Mm-hmm. So tell us how you ended up at culinary school in New York then.
So culinary school was kind of it was a Hail Mary for me a little bit when it first started.
Because you're in trouble at this point.
I was kind of couch surfing from person to person, mainly my mother, and I owed some pretty bad people a pretty good amount of money, and I had no friends left, and I just wanted to get out of town, so I went to culinary school. I figured it was a good way to get out of town and convinced my parents that I was doing something constructive, and I just kind of I fell in love from day one. I fell in love with like the militaristic nature of it. I fell in love with the rigidity of it. I fell in love with the idea that I needed to be somewhere at a certain time and do a certain job for a certain number of hours.
Okay, so it was definitely appealed there. But how did you know it was culinary school? Why did you fall in love with cooking? Have you done that your whole life?
The answer for this. It's funny. So I remember kind of reading some chefs' memoirs and reading specifically Anthony Bourdain's book, and he talks about how he would cook all night and then go drink and do drugs and whatever. And I was like, well, I'm doing this for free right now. Might as well go get paid for it.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what made it seem appealing. And obviously I did a lot of couch surfing, gave me a lot of time for the Food Network and the Cooking Channel and whatever else. And I was like, I can definitely do that. And I quickly learned that it is not that simple.
Yeah. So you went to culinary school. You came back home and started a restaurant, but things still weren't exactly right.
No. So I came back home. I spent a few years in Manhattan, and I was blessed. I had the opportunity to cook in some amazing kitchens. And I wouldn't say that I was necessarily super gifted or super talented or anything like that. I had a work ethic, which I think I inherited from my mother, but I had a work ethic that, no matter what state I was in, I could come in and get the job done. So they really liked me. Anyhow, that time passed. I came back to Bethesda, opened my first restaurant, and 25-year-old kid, fresh out of culinary school.
25, wow.
Fresh out of culinary school, 12,500 square foot restaurant. The two just have no business mixing. Go ahead.
In 2014, you hit rock bottom, and I read somewhere what your mom said to you as an ultimatum. What did she tell you?
Well, I quite literally hit rock bottom. She told me, she said, listen, if you don't do something with yourself, she said, I have no place in your life, and you have no place in mine, and this will be kind of the last that we see of each other, and you need to be ready for that. And she had never said that before. She had never said that. I mean, being a doting mother, she had made a few empty threats and, been upset and shaken her fist a couple times, but she had never said that to me before. And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will, because she was not the first person that said it. I had friends that wrote me off. I had girlfriends that didn't want to see my face again. So
wow,
it really rang true and hit home.
So you responded positively to that. Was it right away?
No, definitely not right away. Definitely not right away. Like any good addict, I said, you know what?
See ya.
Thank you very much, and I'm gone. And that lasted for about 2 weeks. And then April 14th of 2014 is when it all kind of came to a head.
Why that date? I mean, that's very exact.
Well, it was, getting clean, especially off of opiates, is something that you will never forget. And if you have forgotten it, you've probably got another one in you.
Wow.
So I will always remember that day.
Talk about the path back. What did you end up doing? How hard was it?
I don't want to make light of it at all. It was something that I was ready for. I had been beating myself up mentally and physically for most of my adolescent life, all of my adult life. For me, it really was just giving myself over to a power greater than me. I believe truly that in the power of prayer. I do believe truly in the that I was saved by God. There's no reason that I should be sitting before you today. It was not easy. It was very, very difficult. But I knew I was not going to have spent my entire life in the restaurant business and then come back to it and not be comfortable working in restaurants. So for me, my sobriety meant that I had to be able to go wherever I wanted to go and do whatever I wanted to do. I just was not going to drink or use drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So for someone listening right now struggling with an addiction of drugs or alcohol, what is your word of encouragement to them right now?
There's 1,000, and I only hesitate because I know how hard it is to hear somebody else. When you're in that place, I know how hard it is to take somebody else seriously because you think that your situation is different. You think that you are not the same as other people that have gone down this road. But the truth of the matter is that you are not special. Your problems are not singular. You are not living on an island. If I could do it, literally anybody could do it. People look at me now and they think, oh, kid with a silver spoon, he owns, 3 restaurants. He's doing really well. He's on TV. He's this, that, and the third. But, I have been through all walks of life. I've been to jail. I have woken up in closets. I have not had a place to sleep. I have had to worry where I was going to get food from because I hadn't eaten in 2 days.
Wow.
So there is hope and there is a way out and there is help. Yeah.
You grew up in a Christian home. Your mom's a believer, right?
Yes.
So what did you think about all that growing up? You obviously saw her example, but you're kind of doing your own thing. How did you relate with that?
I was raised in the church. I always, at my best and at my worst, I've always believed in prayer. Many times I would pray. I would make deals with God. I would say, if you make me feel better right now, or if you take this away, or if you get me out of this right now, I will. I'll never do this again, or I'll be a better this, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. It was disappointing to see her disappointment, and it was disappointing to see her, especially her as a believer. It was difficult to see her kind of have that battle with herself, like, God, I do everything a good Christian woman should be doing. Why is my son struggling like this? Why has my son kind of been cursed as the way he has?
Wow.
So it was difficult to see her go through that struggle. But I think that, I truly believe that everybody has a purpose and everybody has a reason that they are here. And I think that more so now than ever, I feel like, I had to go through what I went through. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a pastor, and I don't ever want to be either. I have a very gritty, kind of at times kind of disgusting story, and I think that having that story and having gone through that life experience has put me in a position where I can talk and relate to anybody.
I have 3 children, so I can't imagine how hard that must have been for your mom to say those words, I will never be part of your life again if you don't make a change. I imagine things are good for you guys now. You're in a better place.
Fantastic.
I mean, if we were to talk to her today, what would she say about you?
She's very, very happy. She's very, very modest, but she's very she's very happy. She loves coming into the restaurants and seeing things busy. And obviously, I'm quite certain that she has every newspaper or magazine or anything that I've ever been on is somewhere for her to find. And she's very excited. And as soon as I told her WGTS, she pretty much came through the phone. Oh my God!
We love
That's
her.
Funny. We hear of people falling back in old habits. I think it's like 5 years into your past now.
Yep.
What keeps you centered today, Ashish?
I just have to remind myself that I only have today. It is a daily. Do I have the desire to kind of make bad decisions every day? No, I do not. But there's other parts of my life that I have to kind of keep in check. It is. I have to remind myself that it is only today, and I have not done any of this. It is a power greater than me that has done this, that has given me this gift today.
It's powerful.
Okay, so you've won a lot of awards, probably too many to mention right
Yeah,
now.
we saw the list.
We
It's
saw
long.
the list. You've been in everything from Cutthroat Kitchen to Chop to Today Show and in print with the Washington Post, countless other publications. But your awards are too numerous to list, really.
Yeah.
So what accomplishment means the most to you?
You know, I try not to ever like stop and smell the roses, because it's easy to that moment in which you start to revel. It becomes very, very easy to kind of get caught up in like the meanness of something, when in truth, you know, I'm one guy with 3 restaurants. That only happens because I have amazing people behind me. So for me, the moments that I'm proudest of are the moments where I see my people develop. You know, where I see a guy go out and buy a home. Somebody that works for me, or when I see somebody go on vacation, or when I see somebody buy a new car. Those are the things that I'm proudest of. You know, because nothing that I've done is something that I've of my own done. And you know, the best chefs in the world are the best chefs in the world because they have the best people working for them for no other reason.
That's good. You remember who got you there. I like that.
Yes.
We're talking with Chef Ashish Alfred. He owns Duck Duck Goose and also George's Chop House. There are 3 of them, as you mentioned. He splits himself 3 ways to try to cover all of those. You recently raised thousands of dollars for charity, right? A charity that takes care of kids in Uganda called Chrysalis. Why was that important for you to do? Like, you gave your restaurant up, cooked for everybody, and kind of gave of yourself for that.
You know, in this business, it becomes the opportunities to be philanthropic are few and far between. So when I was approached by the amazing people at the Chrysalis organization, Shalini being one of them, it was a no-brainer for us, and it was just so you could kind of see. You know, seed to fruit, exactly where everything was going and the way things were happening, and how connected she is, and the amount of time that she spends over there. I mean, for me, that goes a long way, because I think about it like a business. You know, I spend a lot of time in my business. I'm very, very hands-on, and the fact that Shalini could speak to every aspect of it, and the fact that you could see those kids' faces, and they had stories of, you know, kids that have been through, and the fact that they use the children that they work with, they try to use those same children within the organization again. I think that is so powerful to have that kind of like organic internal growth.
So what's next for you? Is 3 restaurants like the it dream, you know, like that's it, I'm there, or you're ready for more? What's next?
You know, I say God has not brought me this far to only bring me this far. And I have not planned for any of this. We are with God's grace, hopefully you can plan to see us on TV a lot more often very soon. And that's all I'll say.
Oh, love
No
that.
one break some news here?
You're not going to have Jerry join you again, are you? The blind
No,
cooking.
he wants things that are good for ratings.
No, you did a good job. You did a good job.
Well, for setting a good example, for being honest about your past, and setting a great example for the future, and for being a great community leader, we do something on Friday, every Friday. We didn't tell you. That's why you're really here. We were naming you the WGTS Hometown Hero. So.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for making the time for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.